The mark of a great performance is when the artist can cause the witness to ask the question that the art itself is answering. That's a theory that I've been pondering over this past month. And it's something that I'd like to talk to you about during the Zoom call on May the 2nd. Yeah, I'd love to explore that theory. I'm thinking of a number of things, and I'm going to try in this video to lay it all out there for you. So walk with me, right? Um, I've been doing a lot of research, listening to a lot of Jimi Hendrix, and just learning about his life, right? So he his parents, they were pretty toxic and didn't have a great relationship, lots of drugs and alcohol, that sort of thing. And his mother ended up passing away when he was very young, like preteens, and his father didn't even let him go to the funeral. So you can imagine how rough of an upbringing that was. He ended up getting in trouble with the law, and he had a choice. He could either go to prison or he could go to the military, and he chose the latter. And he spent a little bit of time in the military before he was honorably discharged, because he couldn't stay focused on the tasks at hand. He was busy playing music and yeah, so he was discharged and began playing music throughout the Chitlin circuit, performing with acts like I think the Isley Brothers and Anita Baker, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, definitely had massive success. Well, I don't know about massive success, but he was playing alongside these greats, so he was successful. But he didn't get discovered until a little bit later, um, where he went on to be managed by a guy from a band called the Animals, and he took him all over London, and that's where he like really blew up, um, and like had these amazing performances, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's the backdrop of like all of the work that I'm doing, all the studying that I'm doing, all of that, right? Um, April 1st. Um, Somebody who I now consider my favorite artist, um, Tizo Touchdown. He is like an alternative rock. Um, Gosh, he's such a great artist. But he posted this video on YouTube, where he did a partnership with a brand out in LA called Holiday Brand, and they partnered with Call of Duty, right? So he posts this video, and it's in this very small shop, and there's like these like, I guess, the paratroopers that are like hanging from the ceiling, um and it's just this simple music video of him, singing his song, like tearing up the shop, and like it's kind of like he's on a heist, and it ends with him waiting for the car that was supposed to arrive, and his getaway driver is like ordering food. And anyways, I'll link everything that I'm talking about here in a moment. But so that was in the back of my mind, and I am continuing my research on Jimi Hendrix. So in my research, I'm looking at all of the different things that have happened in the same time frame. So the late 60s, which was a very tumultuous time. Reagan had just gotten into office. A lot of assassinations were happening. Martin Luther King was assassinated in that time period. The civil rights movement was alive and active, and we were seeing some progress with that. Political artists were popping up, notably Gil Scott Heron. popped up, and I was continuing my research, continuing to listen to new music and be turned on to new artists. So I heard Gil Scott-Heron's song, or not song, poem, whatever you want to call it, Whitey's on the Moon. And he has a visual to that piece of poetry, and he is performing it, and there's an astronaut on the ceiling, and he's performing it. And the words of that poem are somewhat to the effect of, while we went to the moon in 1969, not 1970, but a year sooner. Any Even Stevens fans out there? Because that was such a good episode where she was like learning about going to the moon, but like all she learned about was going to the moon, which is so crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm like getting an epiphany right now. Okay, so sidebar, like, again, walk with me. Even Stevens, there is an episode where his sister is talking about her project, where she's talking about going to the moon, and she's like freaking out. She has this fever dream where she's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so unprepared. I don't know anything else about what is like going into this project. And like, it's a musical, and like the whole thing is like, we went to the moon in 1969, not 1968, but a year after. We went to the moon in 1969, not 1970, but a year sooner. And like, and it was lunar, and like that was like the only thing that she knew about this time period. And that is wild to me, because there was so many things happening in this time period. Anyways, back to my research for Jimi Hendrix. Gil Scott-Heron, he put out Whitey's on the Moon, and it basically was talking about how his family is living amongst rats and sewage, and it's not a happy time, and yet there are astronauts going to the moon. So I'll link that below as well. But it's so crazy because I feel like Gil Scott-Heron at the time was calling attention to how there is this ascension happening where the earth is being depleted of its resources, where humans are being depleted of their resources for the gain of a very small few. And then I look at the visual for Tizo Touchdown, where he has these paratroopers descending down into the earth, and I perceive it as a call to descend value back into the earth. And what's crazy about that as well is that Tizo Touchdown dropped this visual where he has these paratroopers on the ceiling. He dropped it on April the 1st, which is oh my gosh, I sound like such a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but it's not even that. It's more so like witnessing art and like talking about art, and like I feel as though I have so many deep feelings about art, and I just want people to talk to about it. And so that is why I'm like so interested in like having these dialogues. I would prefer to have them in person, but like I'm happy to have them over Zoom. So like I would love to have these conversations with people over Zoom. But yeah, mark your calendars, May 2nd, 2 p.m. It's a Saturday, 2026. I don't know when you'll see this, but anyways, yeah. And then bringing in this crossroads that I feel as though I'm at, I have this visual in my mind, like it's so clear to me, where it's like I'm walking on this path and I'm like in the wilderness, I'm like trying to find my way or whatever, and there's like a wide path and a narrow path, and like the wide path is parasocial relationships, especially because I have said it countless times where it's like I'm coming from an isolated place. I created Let's Music Club in isolation. I was very much siloed, working from home, going through depression, like coming out of the pandemic, all those sort of things that had left me alone. And then, feeling like, okay, I'm finding my footing. Like I've created this thing and this tool, Let's Music Club, like it's a tool for me to dig myself out of the depression, out of the isolation, out of the valley. It's a introduction back into community, and it's a reason to be in the room. It's like I can easily say, oh, I shouldn't be in this room or that room. And it's like, no, I actually do have a purpose and a mission and like all those kind of things. So I'm on this mission in the wilderness, in the woods, and the wide path is parasocial relationships. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm like back into the wilderness, forging my own path. But I do think that it's interesting with Tizo Touchdown because he chose paratroopers. And so I'm very interested in the prefix para right now. What does it mean to be beside or beyond or, next to, but not quite in sync with, or in community with? Because I do feel like so many of the influences that allowed me to create and like be who I am, which is a witness, and it is an appreciator of beauty, and it is somebody who likes to sit with material. So many people who have allowed that side of me to flourish are people I will never meet, or know deeply or anything like that. And so what does it mean to be responsibly para and not disgustingly para? I don't know. That's a harsh word, but it's like, I want to make sure that people are honoring art well, and respecting the bounds of what a para relationship is. Because again, going back, this might be so convoluted, but like going back to Tizo Touchdown's video with these paratroopers, and if their mission is to descend value back into the earth, if their mission is to inspire thought, life, growth, all that kind of thing, like I'm thinking of like when they send care packages in helicopters and they just like, send the food down and that's it. It's not an actual relationship with the helicopter operator. But there is value to be had in what they may be providing. And so I think about like people who are responsible with their platforms, artists who are responsible with their platforms. And if my thought process and my question is being answered in the art, then I want to be in community to use the art well. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. And then to bring it on home, when it comes to Jimi Hendrix, I just feel as though he didn't have the community and the support, because he got discovered. I think her name was Linda. If I'm not mistaken, I have it written down somewhere, but it seems as though when he got discovered, he was really just discovered by vultures, by people who saw his talent but didn't necessarily see him as a full person. And so I could only imagine being so young, so famous, so talented, and everybody around you is looking to have a part of you. What that must have been like. And then you think about like his performance of the national anthem at Woodstock, and it was so poignant and like so, like, he didn't say a word, but that art, I feel like, was answering the question that the witness would have listening to it. It's like he made his guitar sound like bombs dropping. I'm going to put that link in there as well, but it's like he clearly had, to me, listening to some of his work, he clearly had feelings that he couldn't express verbally. And I think that that's, you know, the nature of art. Sometimes there is something that gets lost in the essence when you put it into words. But yeah, he was a part of the 27 Club, which is a club of a lot of super influential, super talented artists that were taken too soon, who all passed away at 27. And I just think it is vitally important to be in community and to stay conscious. Oh my gosh, I just watched a music video. I'm not even going to add that one in here, but it has messed me up over the past 24 hours, let me tell you. Yeah, man. So I think that the theme of the conversation, especially via Zoom, so it's pretty fitting, but I think that the theme is going to be para as the prefix. Para, meaning beside, beyond. Let me see what else para as the prefix means. Para meaning beside, adjacent to, denoting substitution at diametrical opposite. That's not it. That's not what I'm looking for. It's talking about chemistry. The etymology is Greek, means beside, in combinations often meaning amiss, irregular, denoting alteration or modification, denoting something that protects or wards off, like a parachute. That's interesting. Yeah, man. I think the conversation will be lovely, and I would be happy to have y'all there. And yeah, cheers to using your art in powerful ways. Cheers to meeting together. Cheers to the people who are doing it right, especially here in Columbus. I'm so freaking grateful for the people who I've met who have been willing to have conversations with me, and who are interested in ensuring that those who desire it have community and a place to be known. And yeah, I'm super grateful for the people that I have encountered over the past couple of weeks, maybe even months at this point, since being back in Columbus, Ohio. I long to do something in person here. It's just a matter of gaining the support and all of the pieces being in place. I'm a perfectionist, but I'm also a novice. And so things just have to be super aligned in order for it to make sense for me, because I am a one-woman show right now. But that is right now. Right now is not forever. So anyways, I again will link, I'll link the Gil Scott Heron video. I'll link the Tizo touchdown video. I will link the Woodstock national anthem. And then I'll link this. You know what? I might write an article. An article sounds so crazy. I might write up just a little blurb, a little blog post via Substack to get this out. I don't know. I don't know how to get this out to the people that I think it should get out to, but I'm going to put this video on YouTube. I'm going to write up a little something, and we will go from there. But shout out to the Crew for winning against Knoxville tonight. I was impressed specifically with number 17, number 90, and number 45. 45 got a really, really great assist. 17 was tackling. I'm like, the way that he was playing, he made everybody on that field look lazy because he was going after it. And 90, especially in the first half, he had some really pretty touches on the ball. I don't know anything about soccer, but you know who does? My brother. He has a podcast. It's called For the Crew. For the Crew. It's all about the Columbus Crew, and you should check it out. It's so good. Trust me, as somebody who doesn't follow sports, it is like actually so good. Like, he paints these visual pictures, and like my brother specifically, it's him and some of his friends, but he makes it like understandable, I guess, in a way that makes it compelling. And super excited to stay connected with the Crew and see what happens with the women's crew team that's coming, I think, in like 2028. And I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go. And again, I really do hope to see y'all on May the 2nd. And I think that's really all that I have. Yeah, man. All right, have a good night. Peace.